Currently in our area, 59 degrees with clear skies. Today, mostly sunny, high 83, west winds around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear, becoming cloudy after midnight, low 59. Saturday, cloudy in the morning, becoming partly cloudy with a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. A few storms may be severe, high 86. Saturday night, showers and thunderstorms possible in the evening, becoming clear after midnight, becoming cloudy toward daybreak. A few storms may be severe, low 62. Sunday, showers and thunderstorms. Some storms may be severe, high 85. Chance of rain, 80%. Here's your 7-day outlook. We ended the segment before the break talking about the active weather pattern that we are expecting across southwestern into the central and even Midwest United States with the passive pattern we have in the Northeast. But today we're going to go a little bit more in depth with the active pattern in the Western and Great Plains United States. Here late in April, we typically get a more active pattern in this area, so we're going to go right into it. We have a low pressure system off in the Illinois-Indiana area that's producing a line of thunderstorms that has a severe thunderstorm watch out through about 2 o'clock this afternoon. That would be Eastern time for Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. And then let's take a look at the high pressure system that currently sits over southwestern Oklahoma with beautiful weather expected today. And then the low pressure system off to the west that we'll get to in a minute. Today in Lawton, Oklahoma, we're expecting a very sunny day as high pressure is in the area with a high around 83 degrees after the passage of the dry warm front that has now actually moved into a more unstable environment off to the east and is producing that line we just mentioned. But that's a little bit inconsequential right now, as the high right now is just going to be around the 83 degree mark. And as we go into the night tonight, that is going to drop all the way down to around 59. Now, before we move on, I want to talk about the humidity and wind values. The humidity values today are probably going to be around 50%, with the dew point values lower and farther away from the temperature, resulting in lower relative humidity. Tonight, again, the relative humidity values are going to start to increase, and we could see some clouds develop after midnight as the pressure slowly begins to drop and wind speeds increase, which is because of the pressure dropping. Now let's go into the complicated setup for Saturday. Saturday morning looks to be mainly clear with, again, a few clouds, but then the afternoon gets a little bit rocky as temperatures skyrocket all the way up to 84 degrees, possibly all the way up to 86 in far southwestern Oklahoma. And this is where we're going to see the potential for a few showers and thunderstorms to develop. And there is a conditional severe threat. The Storm Prediction Center has us in a level 2 of 5 slight risk for any storm that can develop to possibly become severe, with the potential for damaging winds of up to 60 miles per hour and hail of up to $half size. Cannot rule out an embedded tornado, but wind shear overall is not that strong. However, it still can't rule out the potential for a spin up. Saturday night, we will expect, again, maybe a few showers and thunderstorms moving through southern Oklahoma before 8 p.m. Then things really clear out, but clouds remain as we remain in the low pressure system, with a low only getting down to about 62 because of the fact that clouds remain. We will probably not get too far low into the 60s. Again, the lowest temperature we would reach is 62. Sunday could actually be a very serious weather day here. We've got temperatures are going to be very, very high in the morning, going all the way up to 80 degrees by noon, possibly up to 85 by 2 p.m. And then a very strong cold front, which is going to be along with a continental polar air mass, is going to rush across the majority of the state of Oklahoma, bringing along with it a line of strong to severe thunderstorms with the potential for damaging to locally destructive winds and spin-up tornadoes enveloped in the line. The Storm Prediction Center currently has us in a level 3 of 5 enhanced risk for severe weather for a majority of southern and central Oklahoma, all the way into far western Arkansas before that line is expected to weaken. On Sunday night, though, once the line clears through, temperatures are going to rapidly drop and wind speeds are going to very quickly pick up to all the way around 20 to maybe even 30 miles per hour as the storms move to the east. The pressure is going to rise, which is going to cause a fairly significant wind to move across the area. Wind speeds should ease around midnight Temperatures are going to be around 75 by 6 p.m. after the line clears, and are going to drop all the way down to 53 Sunday night. Monday, we're going to have a fairly cool day with a high around 71 degrees and a low of around 53. Not too significant, really, in terms of anything. Humidity values here are going to be closer to 40% after probably 80 to 90% humidity the last Saturday and Sunday. And the low again, 53, so basically same conditions except with less wind on Monday night compared to Sunday night. Tuesday gets a little bit iffy. We're going to have a high of 81 degrees as the temperature is going to rise by almost 10 degrees as a very small, dry, warm front is going to move in and kind of stall over the area, which is going to allow for our setup of Wednesday. But we're going to be dealing with, again, a warm front, and it's going to cause temperatures to soar up to 81 degrees, but humidity is actually going to remain on the very low side. The dew point's going to drop and go all the way down to where humidity values are near 15 to 20%, and this is going to create the potential for a dangerous wildfire risk across particularly southern western Oklahoma and northern Texas. But this will probably begin to ease on Tuesday night as humidity starts to increase, but again, we're going to see a bit of a wind increase there too, which could also enhance the potential for about an hour or two, maybe even 3, probably from 5 to 8 p.m. is going to be your biggest wildfire risk on Tuesday. And then Wednesday gets a really interesting as a stationary front, as the cold front stalls out right by the warm front, is going to slide by it, creating a temperature drop. But before we get there, we're going to have quite the rain event to talk about. We're going to have some fairly excessive rainfall likely move through a lot of the state of Oklahoma, northern Texas, possibly all the way up into southern Kansas and southwestern Missouri, as temperatures on Wednesday are going to start out up in the upper 60s, low of about 63 on Tuesday night, and then Wednesday will probably have a high around 69 Wednesday morning, and then moving up into the 78 range on Wednesday afternoon. Then they're going to drop back down to around 72 around 6 p.m., and then drop really quickly Wednesday night as the rain moves out of the area with the push of the jet stream as the temperatures decrease down to around 55. Thursday will probably be mostly cloudy as the pressure system is not entirely done. Maybe a shower or two developing in the afternoon, but that is somewhat unlikely at this point. We have a high of about 74 and a low of 56. Temperatures start to recover as we go into Friday of next week with a high of 79 and a low of 58. And then Saturday and Sunday next week both have slight chances of rain as a very small maritime tropical air mass is going to increase the temperatures just a little bit further with a high of 87 on Saturday and then going back down to 85 on Sunday, with humidity values expected to be around 80% both days as the dew point is going to take a significant rise compared to what it was early in the week. Its humidity values are also going to be pretty high on Wednesday with a 90 to possibly even 95% humidity range. And then we'll have a humidity drop on Thursday with where I told you guys it's going to be in the 70s. And then on Friday, humidity values again, just like Thursday, would be in the 30 to 40% range. Still maybe in a little bit of an elevated fire danger there, but it's fairly unlikely that we'd actually see too many wildfires considering the fact that we got a ton of rain on Wednesday. Again, that scenario is hypothetical, but that's the most likely scenario at this point. And then finally rounding out our 10-day, on Monday we would have a partly cloudy day as another small low pressure system begins to move in off the Rockies. Not really expecting any precipitation in the 10-day, but the forecast past that does indicate some precipitation. That's a little bit past what we're going to look at. Let's take a look at the jet stream over the next 10 days, and it's going to be pretty active, pushing all the westerlies and the jet stream are going to combine to push this high pressure system to the east to where we're seeing those severe thunderstorms right now. And then another bout of low pressure is going to be pushed off to the west. From here, from west to east, it's going to push to the east over our area, creating those 2 days of severe weather I told you about a minute ago. And then as that gets pushed off to the east, it pushes another high pressure system through the middle of the United States, possibly even a little bit farther to the south, which would create a less likely scenario of rain on Wednesday. But at this time, the most likely scenario looks to be it's staying just a little bit to the north and maintaining enough strength and speed for it to push out of the area by the time the low pressure system moves in on Tuesday night. And then easing on Wednesday, the jet stream continues to be a little bit active. It pushes the pressure system off to the east, and we get a high pressure system that moves through Thursday into Friday, And this one may stall out and again create higher temperatures. High pressure systems are normally associated with cooler air. However, temperatures can still be fairly high in them, and we're going to see that with highs in the 80s all the way up to 87, I believe I said on Saturday. Yes, it is 87 on Saturday. And then back down to 85 Sunday. Very active weather pattern here. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will have your forecast around the United States, unless you're watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this forecast. Let's go on a quick break, and we'll come back right after these messages.